In this video, I'd like to show you cross-cutting on the table saw. This table saw is set up for cross-cutting, and our other table saw is set up for ripping, cutting the long ways. This is the safest and most effective way to cut something the short way in the shop. This table saw, let's go over the main features first. There's an on-off switch located over here. There is a start-stop paddle right next to it. There is a raised lower wheel on the front of the saw cabinet, and there is a blade angle wheel on the side of the saw cabinet. This table saw is set up with a sled which rides in the miter slots on the saw. Table saws must cut in a perfectly straight line through a well-controlled and supported piece of wood. If the piece of wood moves through in a curved line or isn't perfectly controlled or supported, the saw can turn into a wheel instead, throwing the piece backward at up to 100 miles an hour. This is called kickback. Using the crosscut sled, pieces must be flat on the table and solidly against the fence before you cut anything. If there's not a straight line on that piece, it is not safe to cut on the table saw and must be cut some other way. Be aware that the blade comes through the back of the sled as well. Any slight curve that is in your piece, and I'm talking a very slight curve, should be placed so that the apex of the curve is pointing towards you as opposed to away from you. That would be the smiley face orientation. Pieces must be wider than they are tall, and you need to hold a piece if it is wider than 3 inches. You must not hold a piece if it's smaller than 3 inches. Set the saw to the appropriate angle before changing the sled. If you're going to use one of our other sleds, then you need to take this off, change the angle of the blade, and then put the new sled on at the appropriate position. All right, here's the procedure for cutting something. There is a ruler attached to this that you can use to cut certain sizes, but the foolproof way to do it is to mark with a square, draw a line at your measurement, put it on the sled, and bring it up and line it up with a tooth. Before you cut, you should have already set the height of the blade so that one tooth is above the piece of material that you're cutting. When you line it up with the blade, then you can pull it back, turn it on, have your hands on either side of the blade, holding the piece down and back, and go slowly and controlled through the saw and back, and then you can turn off the saw when you're done. That's it for cross-cutting on the table saw.